I'm just going to show you the basic features on our big table saw we have here. The saw consists of a saw blade. There is a splitter behind it. There's a blade guard which is adjustable. We also have on the saw a fence that can also be adjusted. We have a cross-cutting fence which consists of two stoppers which can be put in place. The saw has a sliding table which assists in cutting. There are push sticks readily available. We have a digital display with various icons. We'll go in more detail when we start using the saw. On and off buttons here, here, and at the end of the wagon here. Okay, we're going to talk about the table saw which we use for cutting larger plates. And it's very important that you learn the basics of the saw. You must use the side fence or the cross-cutting fence or both at all times. Very important. Check the height of your blade. Make sure it's not too far up. And make sure the blade cover is adjusted so it's just above the material. I'm going to show you how to cut a plate. I'm going to go to my digital display panel and put in a measurement in millimeters. Press the yellow button. The automatic fence will go exactly to what you put in. Put your material up on the wagon. Slide it into the cross-cutting fence and slowly slide it into the side fence. Make sure the plate is square. If not, you'll have to make a cut to make it square. Slide it in. Make sure everything is clear. There's no objects lying on the saw. And you can also use this aid on the sliding table to have it behind you so you can apply pressure forward to the cross-cutting fence at all times. Be aware where the emergency stop buttons are. There's one up here. There's one down here. If something goes wrong, just hit the red button and the saw will stop. Okay, I'm going to cut this plate here, and I can't reach it over here, so I'm going to turn the saw back here on. Apply pressure forward. I'm going to walk it through. Turn off the saw and make sure the blade comes to a complete stop before reaching over and getting your material. I can also cut plates by just using the cross-cutting fence. There's two stoppers you can use, and you can put in right to the smallest of millimeters of adjustment. Slide it gently into the stopper. Make sure you have a nice straight flat surface. You can readjust your helper so you have both hands again and start making the cut. Turn on the saw. Again, apply pressure to the cross-cutting fence. You can also make ripping cuts. on the saw. If you want to make this piece a bit smaller, you can put in the measurements. And then it's really smart to have your push sticks readily available when you're making this cut. Make a practice pass by. Make sure you're comfortable. Perhaps your blade is too high. You can adjust your blade down a bit. And you're ready to go. Turn on the saw. Push stick. Don't have your finger in here. Use the push stick. You're done. I want to talk about saw number 1, which is virtually identical to the first saw I've shown you. It's pretty well the same saw, but there's one big exception. Now we have the cross-cutting fence positioned in the middle of the table, sliding table. And this makes it a lot easier for us to use smaller pieces, and working on the other side of the cross-cutting fence eliminates the need to apply pressure on the material. The fence does it for you. All you need to do is hold down your material and walk it through. Don't try to jam it into the side fence. You just hold it down and walk through. Side fence is very important. It's adjustable, and when you're going to use this, you have to make sure you use it in a secure way. This saw is often used for cutting smaller pieces of wood, and then we can use this together as a stopper and locked in place. It's very, very important that you take it from the ripping position to the stopping position by making sure it's behind the blade. I'm just going to cut a few pieces here to show you what I mean. Make sure your blade is at a reasonable height. Make sure that if you can, apply the safety cover over. Start the saw here or here. Be careful when you're doing repetitive cuts. Make sure the blade has come to a complete stop before you start picking up your pieces. As with the other table saw, we can use the stoppers on here, and you can use just the cross-cutting fence for sizing your materials accurately. Apply pressure and just walk it through. It is possible to use the back side if necessary, but we would like you to use this side when you're using this saw. Remember, you have to hand adjust the side fence on this saw. There is, however, a digital readout which makes it easier for you to lock it in place. Same icons as the other saw. You can tilt the blade 45 degrees by pressing the icon with the saw blade on it. Press in 45, hold your finger in on the yellow button. Now you have the blade in 45 degrees. And if you want, you have a very effective method of producing nice joints very quickly. Make sure you always have the push sticks available. Leave the saw as clean as you got it. Tidy everything away, take all the small cut-offs away, and leave it ready for the next person.